rolling. Yeah, anyway, so there's way too many plants.
Yeah, dude, I'm in a forest over here, is that what it is?
I mean, we can keep them all on, it's like kind of a vibe.
Just a little forest.
So,
Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do though? Is I'm gonna plug this in so I have enough battery. Because it's really hard to do Zoom calls when you don't have
when
any
your phone's
battery.
dead.
Turns out it doesn't work that way.
I don't know. I didn't realize there was all this flower.
That's so embarrassing, dude.
No.
Dang. So many flowers.
Well,
Did you
only
pick them all
these.
yourself?
No, these are my get well flowers.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And then this is my dying plant.
You gotta have one that's dying.
These three are wild. Most of mine are dying. This is my little guy.
Nice.
It's really cute. This is some eucalyptus.
Yeah.
Okay, are you so excited?
I'm so excited.
Okay, let's see.
This is pretty fun. So you really went in on it. You're like,
Dude, I did. I was like, I am gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it right, even though I don't really know how to use the software probably correctly.
Okay.
It still works. So.
Yeah, for sure. As long as it works, that's I guess probably the most important thing. How many of these have you done?
This is gonna be 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Thank you.
14 whole podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We should just
Do you feel
just
like-
not say anything. We should just say.
Just breathe really loud, like.
Yeah.
Can you hear yourself in the headphones?
No.
Oh, I can hear myself. It's just kind of quiet.
I think I can hear you now. It's
Yeah,
gonna
you
be
have
so
to-
good for my hair. It's gonna flatten out my hair again.
You want it flat or you don't want it flat?
I don't want it flat.
I got some styling products for you if you want.
No, it's
We
cool,
can
dude.
do a little something.
No, it's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I style it with shampoo and conditioner.
Okay, how's this? Can you hear yourself now? I think your gain was just turned up.
Oh yeah, sometimes I gotta get that gain on, dude.
Yeah, right?
No, I can
Okay.
hear myself talk
Okay.
anyway.
I usually keep it like about like this close. You don't have to.
You don't want me to be this close to it.
I mean, you
Oh, I
can.
can actually hear myself now.
Yeah. Wait, let me turn. Oh, this one is mine.
Yeah, that's for sure.
This one's yours. Okay.
Boom.
That seems
Look at that.
cool. I'm actually gonna close the window because planes.
Dude, let me say something about the planes. They're loud.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
super
even.
loud for
I
some
don't
reason.
even notice them. Well, because we're right in the flight path.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I've been trying to do meetings, and there's been a couple
like,
times I'm like,
I just have to stop. I'm like, sorry, plane. Like everyone who talks to me on the phone, like they just know.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
loud. It's awesome, I love it, but
It's
not when you're in the middle of a meeting.
Yeah.
You're like,
No.
you're like, I am sorry. I am sitting underneath an airport at the moment.
Yeah, literally. I don't even notice it anymore. It will wake me up sometimes because I always sleep with my window open. But
Every morning.
should we get a little test? Just say something or just test
Say what you need to say. Does it kind of just sing into it? Does
Yeah.
that work? No, it's not working. Good.
it. You can
Good. No, I don't want to sing anymore. I already got out my words. My singing. I only need one singing sentence. There it is. Oh, it's so
say.
beautiful.
It worked. That was really beautiful.
Thanks, yeah. I tried hard for that one.
All right. Once.
Most people don't get that much singing out of me.
Well, one time, I was doing an episode with my roommate Taylor, and I went to the bathroom, and she was left here, and I was like, yeah, I'll just like cut that part out of the audio, but I left it in, and she was singing.
I just sit here and sing to myself.
Have you done a podcast before?
Negative ghostwriter.
First one?
Yeah,
I feel like honored.
you should be. A lot of people have been out to get me on their podcast. but
Really?
No.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know your life. Okay. I think we're ready to go. It's not really gonna be much of an intro, but I'm gonna give you a little bit of an intro so that, just feels like the podcast is open.
Okay.
And then we'll get into it.
Nice.
Cool. Testing. Sing it out.
Say what you need to say. Does it kind of just sing into it? Does that work? No, does that work for you?
You can
Good.
sing.
No, I don't want to sing anymore.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to This Human Thing, a podcast on the human experience. It's Kat, back at it, episode 14. Let's go. I'm sitting here with Joe Reed, and here's what I know about Joe. I met him last week, not even a week ago, a couple days ago. Our mutual friend Jason was in town, and I was hanging out with him. Joe came to lunch. We were all chilling. Joe's staying in town, and here he is on the podcast. Joe is from Colorado, that beautiful mountain state. I know you snowboard for Burton. Been doing lots of crazy competitions and stuff like that, which I'd love to hear about because we haven't even talked about that very much. Yeah, and right now he's just nomading, just has a surfboard bag, has a backpack and a skateboard, and you're just kind of flying wherever your heart's taking you. Sounds like a dream. Welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know if I should say anything because it's such a beautiful intro.
Well, sometimes actually we'll write out a really nice intro to read, but I didn't really know what to say.
No, that was classy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to know what to say when you only know someone for like 5 days. So
That's all right.
It's epic.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Cool. So how long are you going to stay in OB for?
Well, I was originally going to leave Friday,
Mm-hmm.
I guess tomorrow, but I'm actually going to stay till Sunday. Turns out flight's a little bit cheaper, so I'm going to do it that route and hop out on Sunday. So try to get a little more surfing in before I head out.
Yeah, and where are you headed?
Back home. Gonna go watch my parents' dog for 5 days because they're headed out of town. And they're like, hey, you want to go home and watch the dog? And I was like, sure do. So I'm going to hop back up to Seattle for about 5 days. I'll be there from like Sunday to Thursday or Friday, depending on flights again, because that's kind of what my life revolves around right now. And then head down to Texas to see some family. So
Texas.
Yeah, hot place. It's not like the coolest spot of the country, but
it's pretty cool.
It's all right. It's pretty cool for sure. Yeah, but it's the plan right now.
Do you know where you're gonna go after Texas?
Arizona. Yeah, my best friend's birthday.
Where in Arizona?
Phoenix. It's also extremely hot there and real flat, so you know.
And after that?
I don't know. Yeah, most of it's pretty much a mystery, but.
Do you have any prospects?
For any prospects of where I want to go?
Yeah.
No, not at the moment. I was originally gonna go to New York, and there's like an indoor snowboard area now over in the mall there. It's called like Big Snow American Dream.
Wait, when did that happen?
They opened like in the spring, or I guess it was like January or February right before COVID happened.
Oh,
and yeah, it's super epic. It's really small, but I've always wanted to do something like that. So I was originally gonna go there, but the people I was gonna go with might fall through, so we're kind of just floating until we figure it out. You could just
go anyway.
I could just go anyway. I gotta go back and pack a bag, so if that's the case,
right.
I gotta fly back to Seattle no matter what.
Right. So I know that like the first place that had something like that was Dubai, right?
Yeah, Dubai and a lot of European little countries have them, like a ton of them. Beijing has a pretty big one, so I mean they're all over the place, but they haven't really made their way to America.
But not in the U.S. really. Yeah. Because they were thinking of building one in Northern Virginia, where I'm from.
Yeah, it'd be way better than the Snowflex. It's way better than Snowflex. So.
Snowflex is this hill that they put a carpet on, and you can ride down it. That's the first time I ever snowboarded. Was not even on snow. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. It's like if you took a hairbrush and put a bunch of them together
and then made it wet.
Yeah,
there's like little like misters that spray off.
Yep.
I could show you a pretty bad picture from my day after Snowflex. My roommate Eliza took a video of me just like moving my legs and giving her all the angles, and it was just like one huge bruise.
Nice.
It was so bad.
That's awesome.
Well, because I didn't know how to snowboard, so I was literally just like, woo, and I just
smacking the
jumped down. Yeah. I like borrowed my friend Maddie's snowboard, and I was like, okay.
Nice. At least you didn't tear yourself up. Sometimes you can get like some pretty bad like burns.
Yeah, well, I had like pants and a sweatshirt on, so there wasn't really anything to burn.
That's good.
But there was this one girl, so there was like this jump that was closed. Like they had like stuff in front of it so you couldn't go off of it. And some girl, I think she like might have been on skis, but she went down and she like smacked into the side of the jump, which like it's a jump made out of like wood.
Yeah.
And like she was just like bleeding everywhere. It was really bad.
Dang. So, nice and graphic, but I love it.
I know.
Yeah.
It was like her head. They had to like go stretcher her out of there.
You gotta be wearing helmets out there.
It was pretty bad. I know, but it like got like on her forehead.
Nice.
So.
Yeah.
That's where I met Jason, was at Snowflex.
Yeah.
I think I told you that.
Yeah, a lot of people meet out there apparently.
Is there more stories?
No, but I just assume there are. You met someone at Snowflex. I'm sure someone else met someone at Snowflex.
Well, it's because my friend, or I think I already told you all this. See, I don't know like what I told you and what I didn't tell you.
Yeah, it's all a blur.
Yeah, my friend Lojo, I was there with her. She rips it up on the skis. She's really cool.
Nice.
But yeah, that was like my snow buddy during winter 2018.
Cool.
It was great. I met G-Eazy at when I was snowboarding, but I think it was like the second time that I ever snowboarded. So I like waddle over to him and I'm like, G-Eazy? I don't actually know his name.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah. And I was like, can I take a picture with you? And he was like, sure.
Was this at Snowflex?
No.
I was about to say, like, that's another, you just meet people at Snowflex.
No, it was, it was at Snowshoe in West Virginia.
Nice. What a random place for him to be.
I know. It was so weird because like I was like going up there that day and my friend texted me and he was like, did you know G-Eazy is there right now? I was like, nah. And then I saw him. But then like, immediately after I meet him, I'm like, okay, bye. And then I just like fall down the mountain because I didn't know how to snowboard.
Yeah, you were just so stoked. I
was just so stoked.
Yeah.
But I was on like, I think it was like a green. I don't even think it was a blue. And he was on that too. So
nice. Hey, same level.
So, we're basically friends now.
Yeah, you're basically rippers.
If I had been good, I wouldn't have been on that hill and I wouldn't have met him. Because, like, my friends that I went with, they were, like, on the other side of the mountain. Because I was like, just leave me.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone.
I'm just going to be I'm going to be me for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me be just, like, my green circle self.
Yeah, that's totally fine, you know? As long as you're supporting the industry, it's all good.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which grade of runs you're taking.
Yeah, well now, I'm kidding, I'm not like very good, but
now I'm awesome.
Well, it's nice because I think, okay, so I want to ask you like how you got into surfing, because I feel like for me, learning how to snowboard was difficult, but like within a week I could like ride anything, but with surfing, it's so hard.
The learning curve is pretty significant in surfing. It humbled me, to say the least. When I lived in Colorado, it was always something I wanted to do because I was like, oh, board sports, easy,
It's just, it'll translate so well.
Yeah, like I could wakeboard, I could skate, snowboarded apparently well enough to do things in. So I was like, well, when I moved to Seattle, I was like, I'm going to surf. And then turns out it's really difficult to find a surf community in Washington because it's pretty small and like unknown areas. So it took a long time. I was there for like 8 years, but didn't get to start surfing for the next, I don't know. I started surfing 3 years ago because it took that long to figure out like who would be willing to take me out and surf for the first time because I wasn't going to do it alone. And my friend Marie, super dope girl, up in Seattle, was like, oh yeah, like we got introduced to each other, and then she's like, yeah, I surf, and I was like, I want to surf, and from there just offered me a trip down to the beach, and I was like, deal. Brought all the stuff, and she, I don't know what happened, but she's like, you snowboard, you'll be good, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool.
We'll see. You're like, yeah, I'll
great.
Be good.
Yeah, I was like, I should be fine, like this is nothing. Like I can swim, and I can snowboard. So
it's just
that's
a merge
the
of
only
the two.
difference is the fact that I'm standing up in water.
Yeah.
It wasn't that way. Caught 2 waves that day, and I was real stoked on myself. I was like, yeah, I'm the best. Like, I got this. Just because,
Where were you riding?
What? Where? What?
What and where? Sure.
Oh, well, I was riding some gigantic log. It was like 9 feet long in the whitewater at Westport. And Westport is a gnarly beach break. It's just like so washed out and gross. And the jetty is insane. And every rip current is on you the whole time. So it's definitely a battle. And it's cold water because we're in Washington. So it was fun. But from that point, I got hooked. And I was like, man, it's something I want to try to be good at. And the opportunity to go to Costa Rica with Marie's family presented itself. I was like, yeah, let's go to Costa Rica. And I was like still kind of confident in surfing. I was like, I can do it because I only surfed like 2 days before that.
Oh, so you like went on this trip like
early.
Right when you started.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that, like maybe 2 months later. And since that point, I was only able to surf like a little bit before then.
Yeah.
So I was like still in my baby stage of like longboarding and being like, yeah, I can catch anything because on a longboard you can catch anything.
Yeah, because
if you're on the inside.
Is there.
Yeah, so you like jump into it. You can stand on the ground and then jump on your board, then stand up, and you're like, I caught waves. So we go down to Costa Rica, and I was like, I don't want a longboard. Like being a snowboard, I want to be on short boards. They make more sense to me. I can do more turns, cutbacks. Yeah, like I want to be like one of those cool dudes that you see on like WSL going crazy, which is the World Surf League. And she was like, you should probably learn on a longboard and like try to get good at one before you go into shortboarding. I was like, no, like when we go to Costa Rica, it's shortboards or nothing. I was like, all right. So we get down there, get on a shortboard. First day, get wrecked, just wrecked. And then like the next day, got wrecked. We were out there for 10 days. The swell was like dropping, which is probably a good thing for me because I would have really gotten wrecked if it was too big. But yeah, the learning curve was crazy. Like that was when I really realized like everything moves in the water. Like like snowboarding, you have your jump, you have your rails, and they stay in the same area. So your timing is the same every time. Like your speed is the only variable, but once you figure that out, you're good for the day. Whereas surfing, it's like the swell moves and the wind and like, like peaks break in different areas. So you have
gravity's different. Like...
Yeah, it blew my mind. So I was just like taking dumps. Like I was just like back to back falling. And I was like, man. And like Costa Rica was a really cool experience because I was like, first off, you're out of your element. You're in a different country. So you're like, like I don't want to like hurt myself. But at the same time, like I'm trying to get good at this sport.
Yeah. Was there a lot of reef there?
No reef. It was all cobblestone, which was really nice.
Okay.
But there are like alligators or crocodiles or whatever they have down there, so that's pretty fun.
In the ocean?
Yeah, they come out of the river mouths. It's kind of sketch.
I didn't know that they like would be in salt water.
Yeah, apparently they like it. So we didn't see any, thank goodness, because that would have sucked. Try to avoid those guys. But yeah, so I was just trying to get it, and people were so good around me, and I was just getting wrecked. And but I realized like in that trip, I was like, man, it's like one of the most peaceful things is to like get past the break of the wave, and like sit there and you can look out into the ocean or to the other side of the mountain, like wherever you are, you kind of have like different views. And once you get to that point, like everyone's calm and you're just kind of sitting there like waiting for your waves to come in, and it's like the most peaceful thing. And that's when I was like, I like this sport a lot. Like this sport is sick. So that's what got me into it, is like those 2 trips, like Westport, and that was like the intro, and she was like, yeah, you're good, like you can do it, whatever. And then the next trip beat me up, and I was like, man, it's hard, but it's rewarding. Like it's just a feeling you cannot get anywhere else. Yeah, so now I'm wildly addicted, and I've been surfing 18 days straight on my little trip. But yeah, I've been surfing for 3 years. Hopefully have gotten a lot better. In my head, I feel a lot better,
Oh, dude, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, if you're gonna like lug a surfboard across the country with you, like, or 2.
Yeah.
Don't you have 2?
I have 2 surfboards with me right now. Yeah, just threw them in a bag. The boards I have are like super indestructible, so really easy to slide into a board bag and just trust Delta Airlines with their
to not, like,
with my
break them.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, like you got my bags. They show up. Hopefully they're not broken, kind of thing. But yeah. Just traveling with them. It's kind of funny.
So, you've been surfing for 3 years. How long have you been snowboarding?
Yeah.
Right out the womb?
Yeah. Well, no. So I'm originally from not Colorado.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't tell very many people where I'm going or where I'm from. But
okay, but we can just let the whole world know.
Yeah. What up, world? This whole world out here. But I'm originally from Texas.
Okay.
And I was there till I was 7. So when we moved to Colorado, I was like, I want to be a professional snowboarder. I want to snowboard, you know.
You
So
right off the bat were
right
like,
off
I
the
want to
bat.
be a pro snowboarder.
Yeah, when I was younger, like I saw like, you know, Shaun White and all these like little
Yeah.
like X Games was like the coolest thing ever when I was younger, from like up until 7 and all the way till now. I love the X Games.
Yeah,
But,
I was like, when did it stop?
that never stopped, but it was like something I really loved. So I was like, man, like I started buying books when I found like moving out to Colorado, like books, magazines, anything I could research. I was like, I want to know about the sport. So when I
Before
moved
you
there,
started, like,
Yeah.
actually.
yeah.
Cool.
So then when I moved to Colorado at like 7, got on board like that winter. We moved it right in the dead of right in the dead of winter, which was a horrible thing to do, considering we're from Texas and we don't know how to drive in the snow, and you know, we have no jackets or 4-wheel drive car. It was bad. Like we're like the full edition of kook that you would see online right now. So moved there, started when I was 7, 23 now. So whatever that math adds up to is how long I've been snowboarding. Yeah.
Dang, dude. Wait, okay, I know you've probably told this story to some extent so many times, but I'm just really curious, like, what your snowboarding journey has been. Like, how did you go from little 7-year-old, I want to be a pro snowboarder, to doing it?
Yeah. I mean, my career's been interesting with snowboarding. It's definitely been an interesting path. When I was really young, 7, got really into contests, like, when I was really young. So, basically hopped in, like, again, like, this confidence thing. I was like, almost like with the surfing thing, I'm like, yeah, like, let's do contests, you know? So, like, I got to the point where I could, like, got into this, like, program for, like, freestyle snowboarding when I was 8. And it was, like, that same winter that I moved there. So started doing that, and I, like, outgrew it. They're like, yeah, he needs someone else, and, like, whatever. And I was like,
So
okay.
you were just, like, off the bat,
Pushing
just good.
I was just pushing it. Like,
Yeah.
I did, like, my first backflip that winter, like, the first winter I moved there, just because I was
So
like,
when you first, like, learned, you were like, backflip.
yeah, I need to do something to, like, do something, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just because I loved it so much that I just kept pushing myself, and then, yeah, like, ended up, like, finding a really good coach through just a little contest, and my goggles were all messed up, like, they're really foggy and bad. I got picked up by this little like snowboard shop. It's called Bubba's Boards out in Durango. So they're like helping me out with what they can, and like got my first snowboards through them and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
Which I still have, which is really cool. But yeah, I ended up training with this coach, and then basically just started going on tour with him when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Wow.
Like, yeah, very abnormal path of an elementary school kid. But yeah, just started touring, did a bunch of contests around the country, all around Colorado. We'd go train in Breckenridge, and like drive like 5 hours to go train for the weekend, and then come back so I could go to school, and then I'd snowboard at night. And yeah, it was kind of crazy. So I did that all the way through 15 when I left Colorado. But that was like right when my career was picking up, so I was getting into like bigger contests, starting to do like rev tours and Gatorade free flows and all the like Burton US Open qualifiers and that kind of stuff, or like big, at the time, like big pieces of the industry to like move into the next things, like X Games, Do Tour, Olympic qualifiers, all that kind of stuff is in line with what I was doing. So yeah, I don't know, I just put my head down and worked with this coach every day basically, and lived in hotels and condos, and yeah, just floated from a really young age, and was doing like not really doing school very well considering I was never there.
Well, like, how would you even be able to? I think that's like, one second, I'm gonna like move the camera a little bit, but like, how would you even be able to do school throughout that? I never understand that with people who are like, I don't know, in any industry, like in the movie industry or in any like sports or anything. I just don't get that.
Yeah, well, not easy. Would say from experience, it's not the easiest thing I've done, but elementary school, who cares? You don't really get grades. It's not
Just
that
learn
big of
how
a
to
deal.
read.
Yeah, you just learn how to read and like do some addition. So that wasn't that big of a deal. When I got into middle school, it was a little more of a deal, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And then, yeah, I was never a good student. Like, I was never good with classes or passing things. I just hated homework and everything about it because I wanted to go snowboarding.
But like the contrast of like sitting in a classroom to like doing like a
Yeah.
quadruple backflip is very stark. So
yeah, it's very different. But yeah, so middle school was really like when it started to pick up for me. So basically was going to class, and then I'd go snowboard, and I wouldn't do my homework because I'd be snowboarding.
Yeah.
And then I'd go back to class, and then be mad at me, and a lot of people told me I'd never make it, and you get the whole thing of like, I get it, because you're a teacher, and that's kind of, you want people to like do their classwork and not focus as much on these small passions that kids have. But I just kept going with mine. And then when I got into high school, ended up in this college-based prep school deal in Colorado for a year in freshman year, and they were crazy supportive. So before that, I had no support from school. They were like, yeah, you got to figure something out. Like,
your little dream, that's so funny.
It's adorable. Like... Everyone wants to be a pro snowboarder, or everyone wants to do XYZ, but just go to school, get your degree, and be done, kind of thing.
But like you going on tour and like you being in the Olympic qualifiers and like those other contests that you were talking about, like did none of that speak to them as, oh, like he's actually really good? Or did they know about that stuff?
Yeah, they knew about it because I'd send them pictures and whatever, but again, they care about school.
That's true.
So I didn't get support until I was in freshman year, when I started doing like my bigger contests. And this college prep school was so dope. They were like, yeah, you go do whatever you want. We'll make sure you get caught up either before or after you come back. So I'd be gone for a week or 2 weeks at like rev tours. So the process goes, you have, US Open, or no, you don't. You have USASA.
Yeah, I don't know, and definitely whoever's listening probably doesn't know the whole process. Yeah, so.
But you have the USASA, which is United States Snowboard Association, or something like that. I don't know, but it's all the small contests you do as a kid. So slopestyle, half pipe, border cross, all that kind of stuff. And then you go to nationals if you qualify. And I fought really hard to get into nationals. It's like pretty political in some of those places, so you have to like really make your way.
What does that mean?
People like their dad would be running USASA, right? And his kids or his friends would go. Yeah, it was just crazy. So you really have to prove like your tricks are better or your run was better by really doing well, because you couldn't just get away with doing something bigger than everybody else. So so you have USASA, and then from there you go to nationals, you compete in nationals, and then you can get in invites to like Gatorade Free Flow or the Burton qualifiers or pro-ams, that kind of stuff. And then you have the Rev Tour, and the Rev Tour is a qualifier into the big qualifier for the US Open, or not, for the Olympics. So you have Rev Tour, Grand Prix, Olympics. And with the Grand Prix and stuff, you have like X Games and Dude Tour that are also big credentials in that. But I stayed in that Rev Tour realm forever because it is hard to get out of, and there are a lot of competitive dudes. But
and so what is are you touring? Are you
Revolution
going...
Tour? Yeah.
Okay.
So normally I would stop in like Mammoth, Lakes, California. You go to Copper, go to Seven Springs, Pennsylvania, which is always a rough place to go because you're out there for 2 weeks and it's just an iceberg and it sucks. There's like a bowling alley and a roller rink, and like how many times can you do the roller rink after contests?
I've never been to Seven Springs, but a lot of people I went to school with lived there half the year.
It's super fun until you're there for too long and you can't get out and you're a kid and you're like, I need to do something. So I kind of followed that process through school, and high school freshman year they were like, oh, like do whatever you want. And I was like, this is amazing. So I really started to take off, and then I moved to Washington, and that totally threw a wrench in my snowboard world. So I had to kind of readjust and like figure out how to be back in Colorado to train, but also compete and all that kind of stuff. And schools out there are mad not supportive because it's something they've never heard of. So,
is there not a lot of snowboarding in Washington?
Snowboarding is like one of the OGs. So you have a ton of like original snowboarders, like people that are legends, and like companies are all built there. You have like Mervyn Manufacturing and K2 and all these companies that come out of there. But
then why aren't they supportive?
It's the cities, right? So you have because you're not, in Durango, my small town, you're 5 minutes away from the mountain. Yeah. In Seattle, you're an hour and 40 to 2 hours out. Okay. So there might be some snowboard industry there, but it's not the same as living in Colorado where everybody is on a path to be something in snowboarding. Make some money or get into Super Park, whatever it is. It's just not the same. So big challenge. Ended up traveling a ton when I was there. So then I really started to fail school because I was like, man, like I can't do this at all.
Yeah.
And that was big tour year. I was traveling like 40 days at a time and like, a couple weeks at a time and out of a suitcase and a snowboard bag with a coach. And yeah, but ended up, because of the lack of support, ended up in online school, which probably should have done earlier because I would have been better at it, I think, earlier, opposed to trying to switch over and do it. But yeah, did online school until I finished out and just snowboarded the whole time. It's pretty crazy.
And this is like when you were in high school.
Yep. So up until like 2015, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what was in 2015?
Broke my neck in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, how? I'm trying to do the math. How old were you then?
I was 18.
18.
Fresh 18.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's like one of the first things you told me when we met. Because like right now, I really like messed up my leg. I'll talk about that at a later time. But you're like, yeah, like I remember when I was recovering, like it was hard to like let people help me do things. And I was like, recovering from what? And you're like, oh, I broke my neck. I'm like, oh, that's casual.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. I mean, now it's casual because I've been able to get back to the things I love. But
why don't you extrapolate on that story?
Yeah, so I was 18 in the Rev Tour in Mammoth. So it was the third stop, I believe. Third or fourth stop. We had one more after that. I don't know. It's all a blur. But
And wait, sorry to like interrupt that. Like the way that the Revolution Tour works, is it just you're going to different spots? Are you kind of like moving up in like ranking, or do you just Okay.
Yeah, so it depends on how well you do. Your placement is everything. So if you land a really good run in Pennsylvania, that's really good. And that goes towards your World Snowboard Tour or your FIS ranking, so you can get into Grand Prix, which puts you in the Olympics.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
You're like in all that kind of stuff. But basically you're doing the tour to build as many points as possible. So by the end of the year, you get qualified into the next round, which is the Grand Prix. Or in the middle of that year, if you just win 2 contests, you get put into Grand Prix. And then you're then you're really fighting with the big guys. So
that's cool. So like if you win 2 competitions, or if you get like enough points to qualify into the Grand Prix, is that like the pre-Olympic trials?
That's like the real one. It's like you want to be in there as much as possible because that's where all your points are going to go towards the Olympics and that kind of stuff. So
sorry, I'm just trying to
crazy,
understand the process.
It's a lot of work.
Okay.
So many contests. So yeah, I was in the my final stop of the Rev Tour, obviously. Just doing front tins, and the snow was super slushy, and it was late in the day, so I was just trying to get this trick locked in before contest day the next day. I already been traveling for a couple weeks, and I was in Mammoth for a week, and it was day 6, and then snow broke away, got stuck upside down. I landed on my neck on the knuckle. So you have like the takeoff, and then you have like a flat spot, and then the landing. And between the flat spot and the landing, we call it the knuckle. So I landed right on that, bounced to the landing, and instantly couldn't feel my legs. So that was pretty cool. I thought,
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like a pretty odd experience. But I thought, because you don't really think about it in the time that you do these weird injuries, I was like, I just broke my knee or like broke my leg or something because my legs hurt, right? And then you kind of sit up, and you're like, your legs are tingling, and the coach is like, yeah, you didn't hit your legs. I don't really know what's going on there. I guess ski patrol down, they come and check me out. They're like, we don't really know. They're just kind of feeling around, which is probably not a good thing to do.
Yeah, those bones are so small.
Super fragile. So, yeah, that was an exciting experience. And the ski patrol lady was like, yeah, do you want us to take you down in a toboggan or what? And I was like, I'm 18 and kind of dumb, and I wanted to compete the next day. No, I think it's just whiplash. So I like signed this little piece of paper saying it's not the ski mountain's fault anymore. Got up, snowboarded down with my coach, snowboarded down from breaking my neck and back. And then
like, what does that feel like? Like, I've also never broken a bone somehow. So I don't even know what a broken bone feels like. I do not know what a broken neck.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to explain because it really is. It's painful, but at that point, my adrenaline was running so high that I didn't even think about it. I was like, my legs move, couldn't feel them very well, so they're all tingly and weird.
Yeah, but like gravity, so you just kind of like.
Yeah, like if you sleep on your arm for a while, and it just.
And you wake up and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, that's how my legs felt for a while.
How did you like? Okay, when I fall asleep on my arm and I can't feel it, when I wake up, I'm literally, it's just like a
Floppy.
noodle.
Yeah.
So
It's not the circulation on my legs. The
Yeah,
circulation
it
is
was
still
like
running, but it's like
your nervous system.
yeah, it's like you smacked your spinal cord or something. Like, and I can't break into the details. I don't really know how to explain it, but
I don't either.
but yeah, I smacked my spinal cord probably just enough to make him be kind of freaky for a while. So my fingertips were numb, tingly, and my legs. But I walked up, sat in the lodge for a while, and my coach went and watched someone else that was competing that day. Sat there. Things started to get heavy. My arms were getting really heavy. So I was like, what's going on here? And then I called my dad. I was like, hey, like, I really hurt myself. I think I'm going to go sleep it off, but I wanted you to be aware. You need to go to the hospital. I was like, no, I think I'm going to sleep it off and compete in the morning. I got to get this contest done. No, we can't do that. So I ended up going to the hospital, walked down to my coach's car. We got in the car, drove me down to the ER. I walked into the ER. So he pulled up outside, opened the door for me. I walked in. He went to go park. Walk in. I'm like, hey, I think I broke my neck. And then.
So you decided at that point, like you kind of.
Yeah. This was there was a good maybe 2-hour span between breaking it and sitting in the lodge to the point that it get there.
And then you're like, I think this is broken.
I think there's something wrong here. So, I think I broke my neck. So they freak out, get me on a stretcher, demobilize me completely. So the only thing I have access to is like my arm, just to kind of wiggle it around or whatever. And so I could call people, but then they put me in CAT scans and all kind of stuff. And the whole time I was like, I didn't break it. It's just whiplash. I'm gonna be fine, whatever. And then they bring the news out. I broke my neck, my C6, T7 and 8. So you have your C, which is like right where your neck is. Those are your real neck muscles.
Like that big bony one, like right at the base of your neck.
Yeah, and then so those are all your C's, and then you go down, you have your thoracics, and then your lumbar. But so I did my C6, and that broke straight through your neck. So if you like put a pencil through your ears, kind of, I'd be going that way.
Oh wow.
And then I did my T7 and 8 fractured in my back. So that was really cool.
Well, I'm glad that wasn't like the really, really small ones up near your brain.
Yeah. You like C6 is a really dangerous one. If you go above that, your chance of like doing anything again is pretty slim.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, you do C5 for anything like that, you're really pushing, never walking. So very lucky, very thankful. Basically, they put me on a flight for life because they didn't have anything that they could treat me with there in the event that something really did go wrong. Mm-hmm. So, sign my life away. They're like, hey, we need to have you sign this now in the event that you do die or whatever. This is like an agreement. Like 18 years old, fresh 18, that. You're like, this sucks.
You're like, oh, this sucks, I'm going to die.
He walked in, he's like, hey, I hate this part of my job, but I do need you to do this. It's basically just saying in the event that, you die in transportation or whatever happens, that we tried, and I just need it signed so it goes to someone in those events. It's like, man, your job does suck, bro, like bad. So put me on the flight for life, fly to Reno. I was in Reno. They laid me down in an operation room, still demobilized. I have an amazing picture of me outside of my plane. This was my first private flight.
Send that to me.
Yeah, it's epic. It's my first private flight, obviously, because you're in a flight for life. It's the only one I've ever been in privately, So, hopped in, put me in sideways, flew out, and it was like the most painful flight of my life. They jacked me up on drugs. I saw a giraffe in my plane, so that's my spirit animal.
Oh, so you got like a full-on hallucination.
Oh yeah, I was on tour, man. It was crazy. But there was also this thing that was in the back of my head, and it was like a little pinpoint thing, and it holds your head in place on the flight. So if you get hit turbulence, it doesn't wiggle around too much.
Oh, that's so crazy.
So painful. I was like, need something fixed, but I couldn't talk because my neck brace was so high. So that was really fun. And ended up
full-on giraffe. What
kind of
drugs were you on?
I don't know, but I have a very low tolerance for that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it got me sent. And so I saw a giraffe, and that's my spirit animal, even though I'm a towering 5'4" for anyone that's listening. But so did that, landed in Reno, I was in Reno, laid in operating room for hours while they were deciding to, like, if they were going to do a bone fusion. So they're going to take something and fix my C6 with
Fuse
it.
your
Yeah,
vertebrae together.
and that would have changed everything. I would never have been able to do what I do now. So,
because would they have to take it from like your leg?
something, I don't know where they take it. They take it depending on like your bone growth or whatever to do something. Again, medical stuff I don't know, but I know I would have had one.
Why would that have?
Because it can like affect the way it grows back, so it's never the same. Yeah, it's not. You don't get like this loose neck deal. But
I hate loose neck.
Yeah, loose neck's the worst. But yeah, so I lay there. They decided to not operate, and then they put me into a regular room in Reno, and I was there all night. My mom flew down the next morning, and I had an aunt and uncle drive out from Sacramento to see me. But I wiggled my legs all night long because I was so scared that I was going to lose them. If I fell asleep, I was convinced that I'd wake up without legs. So I turned on like Cartoon Network or something and just alone all night and just watching Cartoon Network and wiggling my legs. And stop wiggling, you don't get to walk anymore. You don't, and you don't really know. You have no idea. Like, so you just kind of, you get this thing in your head of like, I got to do this so I don't.
Also, like, maybe that kept you a little sane,
Yeah,
like
didn't get freaked out.
to do.
So yeah, it's crazy. And then the next day, I was stable enough to leave, so they put me in a really jacked me up in a neck brace. Like, I was tall, and it's the tallest I've ever been, and like probably 5'5", and ended up walking out of the hospital. So they offered me like a wheelchair out so I could get to the car easy or anything like that, and I refused it, and it was a nice long walk to my mom's rental car. And then from there, we had to drive to Sacramento, so a couple-hour drive, super painful, but it was not as safe to fly out of Reno as it would be Sacramento because we needed a bigger plane. So I flew there, stayed at my uncle's house, got really sick that night. It was horrible. And then
Like, how, like...
the drugs were just, I got really sick off like whatever they gave me. And then ended up flying out. I was in recovery for 3 months with a neck brace on, so I didn't really go to school or anything. And then full 6 was I couldn't do anything active at all for 6 months, which was cool. So I'm very active. So
so super cool.
Yeah, walking was awesome. And
God. So you could like walk and like stretch.
Yeah, that's kind of about it. Stretch what you can, but speed bumps are scary and all this kind of stuff, so you have to be really careful.
Oh my goodness. So you were just kind of waiting for your neck to fuse back together.
Yeah, and I was cool. We could go to dinners or do life. I just couldn't do anything active, and that's a big thing.
That's such a big
life.
part of life as someone who's like snowboards pro. Like,
yeah, so did that whole thing. It's cool. And then 9 months after the injury, I was back on my snowboard. Went up to Whistler and took my first couple turns, and then a couple days later, I flew to Colorado to get back on the grind. And I only had a couple weird panic attacks, which is good. But yeah, I got back in it. Tried to get back into contests, but the way it works is the points move so quickly. So if you miss contests, you really miss the ball. So at that point, I was like, okay, I kind of need to reevaluate. I went to nationals and that kind of stuff, and it just, people were good, and so I kind of shifted my gear towards marketing and like photo shoots, filming, all that kind of stuff to kind of subside my contest career. I did a little bit for like 2 years more, and at that point I was like, okay, I think it's time to hang that one up and do more love snowboarding. So
I'm just so curious, like, as to what your mindset was throughout this entire process, because that's a lot of like just having to accept, because like that little 7-year-old you, I'm going to be a pro snowboarder, I'm going to go to the Olympics, I'm going to go to X Games, like, and those dreams were literally coming true until that accident. And then you're like, okay, now I just cannot move. And then you're like, okay, now I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm just like wondering, like, I was curious.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, who knows if I would have ever made it to the Olympics? Who knows if I would ever made it to the X Games? But I do know that the route I was on was getting me closer than I was when I got hurt, right? So I was on this path. I was very focused in my contest career. Like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get into some big contests and, become one of like the super pros. So kind of watching that dissipate and kind of fall apart was very difficult for me. But the biggest thing, and you know, you get this really big heartbreak, and it was like every night I'd go to bed like super bummed. But the biggest thing through the whole process was that I still get to walk, you know, and I had a 3% chance of walking out of the hospital. Yeah. So I had 3% of walking out of the hospital, which is why I ended up for the Flight for Life. So I didn't know that at the time. They told my mom that news. They didn't tell me, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, so really that whole time I was just stoked to be having the opportunity to get back into it to some extent. And I can still compete. I can still do some of the stuff I did, but I got to work a lot harder to get there. So I don't know. The mindset was trippy. It was just a big ride of learning to not just love the idea of being a professional snowboarder and all that kind of stuff and making big money and traveling the world and whatever and being that cool dude that made it in snowboarding, but really making me appreciate snowboarding. Like the sport itself, it was my passion before, but it was like really my passion after that. Like really my passion. So I love that sport, and I will do anything to continue to keep that thing riding because it's just the best thing ever. So I'm blessed. I've been able to do some cool stuff like big photo shoots like Super Park and like through the help of some people, and yeah, just ended up in some cool photo shoots and that kind of stuff, which is honestly way more exciting. You don't deal with all the craziness of a contest, so you just show up and
look fucking
go hard.
Cool.
Yeah, just go hard and throw down and land on your feet.
Yeah. Jeez, dude. And another reason I was like asking about the mindset and stuff is just because I've heard a lot of accounts and like read a lot about, you know, like how important your mindset is in recovery and like how important just like your mental beliefs are about your body in terms of healing.
Yeah.
And like I know like Jason got injured last year or something. I don't know, something happened. But he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I watched this movie. It was like some documentary that was talking about this guy who shattered like most of his vertebrae, and every day he would just meditate, and he was a doctor, so he knew how to like do the surgery. And every day he would meditate and imagine like every tiny intricate little step of the surgery, and if he like got distracted or messed something up, he would start again. And his back healed completely. And this guy's Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Nice.
So
it's a good name, Joe is.
Yeah, Joe. That's pretty good. He has a couple of books that are really cool.
Nice.
But geez, that's quite a tale.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was cool. You know, I would never ever want to do it again, but I would never take that experience back because it changed my perspective on everything as far as what I get to do today, you know, like to the point of like getting teared up because I love it so much. So mindset was cool. I don't know. I'm Christian, so that helps me a little bit, and like just like praying, be like, oh man, like God help me through this, you know, like I can't do this alone. That kind of injury is not something you can do alone, which is why I brought up like, it's okay to let people help you, because it really is, you know. And like before that I was so stubborn, but when you can't do normal life things, you gotta accept help. You know, whether it's cleaning off your bandages or whatever, or switching your neck brace while you hold your neck in place so you can flip them or whatever. But the mindset was basically just like I did some like breathing stuff to like that my uncle helped me through, and kind of breathing in and just like breathing through every part that was injured, so your breath is actually going through your bones and all that kind of stuff, and like believing in the healing of that. But biggest like thing was just to pray about it. Like I just believed that, you know, God would kind of put me back right where I'm supposed to be, and just trusting his process in that and kind of seeing where that journey would take me is kind of what kept me sane.
That's the only thing that you can have, you know, because like everything is so uncertain. And if you try to, like, this is something that I've talked about a lot, like on this show, is like whenever you try to tell life that it's wrong, or tell God that he's wrong, or whatever it is, like you're never gonna win that battle. Like the only thing you can do is like accept and believe that everything happens for a reason. And all of the really awful things that you're going through are for a reason, and it's gonna put you in an even better place.
Totally. And I totally believe in that, because like, I don't know what would have happened to me further down the line if this didn't happen. Like, it was a big lesson of stop and listen. And it was a big lesson of like trusting, right? So I totally believe in that. Like, you don't have control over it. So to be able to pray for that and be like, God, like, show me something good today, or something I can look forward to, or whatever, I need that. Or like a small win would be amazing. So, and there's been some really cool stuff that's come out of it. And I don't know if the mindset was related just to pray. It's all you can kind of do in that situation, because you're kind of, it's completely out of your hands. The only thing you can do is keep your neck brace on. So
just don't take that guy off.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you have control of. So I don't know. A lot of breathing, a lot of sitting, a lot of snowboard videos. So yeah.
Damn, I bet. That was like, because before you came on the podcast, you were asking, you're like, oh, like, what's it about? And I'm like, it's really just about your human experience. Like, what, like, because, you know, like, we don't really know why we're here. We don't really know what we're doing. We don't really know what life is, what, you know. So like, the only thing we really do have is like faith in something. Totally. Or all we really have is like connecting to other people, or like connecting to a higher power, just like connecting to life around us, or like connecting to an incredible sport, like things that make us feel alive. And just how you were saying, I don't really know what would have happened if I didn't have that injury. Like, maybe you would have gone to the pros, and maybe you would have gotten super cocky and just been like a horrible person.
I would have sucked.
And like, you would like look really cool. You'd be like this famous guy, but like you would have like kind of lost yourself in the process, you know? And so like, I know for me, whenever it seems like life is kind of against me, or like bad things keep happening to me, I'm just like, damn, this is keeping me so humble. I was like, I can never get a big ego with all this happening to me. And like, sometimes it sucks. I'm like, why are bad things happening to me? But I'm like, no, it's like keeping me in my place. Like, I would probably be an asshole if everything always went well for me, because I would have no empathy to other people. I would like probably see myself as like higher or better. And like, that's the one thing that causes anyone to like go through like real suffering, is like that feeling of like being separate from other people. I'm like, all right, I'll take the hard lessons any day if that means I'm in my place, and like I'm kind of like quote unquote in control of my life, not my ego. So
for sure. It's pretty crazy. But I don't know. I mean, I'm thankful for the way that it went. And, you know, I've had really great experiences through slowing down and not being on the contest scene, and, you know, being a human with people, opposed to just like
a superstar,
this action sports focused dude that was trying to make it, you know. So,
and like, you still made it.
It's been a crazy career, but you know, I'm thankful because I've been able to do some big photo shoots, and I've been able to, you know, create relationships with the companies I ride with, and those last forever. You know, like, may not last for like forever, but the friendships that come out of that, or the relationships, like Burton is my family. Like, there are people that work in that company that I will love forever. Like, I don't care what happens, they're my fam. And you know, same with, you know, Stevens Pass. It's like a big contributor to my snowboarding, and you know, being able to go up there and just support a mountain that was gone like from local now to Vail, but like basically supporting it, trying to keep it local with them, and like this real thing is really important. So to be able to do that kind of stuff, opposed to just be gone all the time in these contests and, you know, hucking myself for days on end, it's cool. So I don't know.
So you ride for Burton.
So
like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I'm like a regional rider now. So I've like floated a lot in that company.
Okay.
I've done a lot of things, but so basically it's like I ride for them in the sense that I represent the brand. They, you know, send product, whatever, I post what they need. And yeah, a lot in Washington and like the Northwest, there's not a ton of Burton people. So I'm like one of their guys out there to basically make sure that people like see Burton. It's kind of funny.
Well, I feel like Burton is the biggest snowboard brand.
Yeah, it is, but
Yeah.
Regionally it's very different to
Okay.
so yeah, so basically just representing the brand well and showing up to events and writing their stuff in every marketing piece I do for whatever company in snowboarding, and just making sure that's the forefront, and it's always like new line stuff, and and the time of contest it would look different than it does now. Like my stickers had to be in different areas or whatever, but now I just get to do what I want as far as like working with Stevens Pass and getting their photos done and making sure that Burton is represented in that as well, kind of being seen. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, a lot of it's just photo shoots and videos and whatever now.
Yeah, but that's like so awesome because you just get to do what you love.
Yeah.
And then you get like these dope pictures of you doing what you love. Because like if anyone has, gone skiing or snowboarding and you like ask your buddy to take a picture of you, it's just probably going to look bad. So
yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's cool because
Yeah.
sometimes you just show up and you get a photographer and you just follow you around all day and you get some great shots and you get to live the life that you want to and you get paid a little bit and call it good. So yeah, it's cool. And I don't know. It's such a fun sport. I just love it. So
I fell in love hard and fast with that one.
Yeah.
Because I like one of the reasons I moved to San Diego is because I just hate the cold. And when I like started snowboarding, I was like, oh, this is one thing I can do in the cold that I love.
Yeah.
And like ever since I started snowboarding, which like wasn't actually that long ago, it was like I started 2 seasons ago, so
Nice.
like the last year, the year before. But yeah, it was just like every chance I got, I was like I like bought like a season pass like to all the like little mountains near me, and I was just like, this is it.
It's an addiction.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for this season, even though it's gonna be weird with COVID and stuff.
Who really knows what's gonna happen with that in snowboarding? Even we don't really know, so that keeps it fun.
Well, if you are ever at Big Bear or Mammoth, let me know.
Mammoth is where I broke my neck, so I love to go.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm nomadic, so I kind of just end up wherever it looks fun.
Yeah. Well, even Colorado, like a lot of my friends live there, and my brother goes to school there, so I'm sure I'll be up there a few times. I'm going to be up there. Well, it hasn't started snowing really yet. I'm going to be up there like Halloween, and then I'll be up there, I think, around Christmas, which could get a little crazy.
It might get a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll definitely be up at Mammoth.
Dope. It's a good spot.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. What time? So he is like a Zoom meeting in a little bit. But what time do you want to be off of the podcast? 6:05.
I don't know.
6:29. I'm kidding.
6:30, 6:35, 6:40.
Really?
I can show up late.
Okay. You want to keep
I don't
talking
care.
then?
Whatever.
Okay.
I'm just here until I'm not. So.
All right. Cool. Okay. So usually when I do these, like I have like a little list of questions that I can like
You're just
pop
spitballing
in,
it.
but that's fine. We'll just have little gaps here and there.
Yeah.
So, in your future, do you have like, I know it's just kind of fun to just kind of see where you end up, but do you have any like little dreams floating around that you're thinking of looking at? What's some things that you want to do? What's like some bucket list things you have? Because like you're young. Like I kind of thought you were older.
Yeah, I'm a young guy.
But we are the same age.
Yeah, rock on to being 23.
Yeah, 23.
Dude. It's a cool age. That's a Jordan year.
It is.
I don't know. I mean, I have a ton of dreams and they're crazy, but
Okay, let's hear 'em.
I don't know. I want to be 30 countries by 30.
Okay.
So obviously this year kind of slowed that process down a little bit.
How many have you been to so far?
Not as many as I would hope to have been, but I think I'm on, let's see.
Yeah, let's list them off.
Yeah, Canada, that was a big one,
I've never been to
It's
Canada.
crazy. A lot of people down here haven't, but I drive there for day trips.
Oh, yeah,
but,
it's Washington.
Yeah, so Canada, Dominican Republic, I've been down there twice. I've been to Mexico twice. Costa Rica, I've been in Panama. I walked past the border and I was there for like 20 minutes. I
Oh,
count
so
it.
you just kind of like, I'm so close. I'm just gonna.
I didn't even
dip
get
in
a
and
border
out?
stamp. I walked through a mall and it ends up on the other side of Panama. Yeah, you have Costa Rica and Panama. And you can go through it. So I count it because you did it. And it's like, I'll go back someday and redeem myself. But Switzerland, and I don't know. So I guess I'm at like 5. I had a lot to go, but that's
Yeah,
a
I don't
big
have that
dream.
many.
Yeah, that's okay. Like,
But there's like, I want to see the world, and
Yeah.
there's so much to see. Like, that's like my big thing, and like maybe it sounds like cheesy because now everyone wants to be like a world traveler, but
Yeah.
like the
Do
world's
it.
just so cool. I
is
just want to
amazing.
see it all.
Yeah, I love it. Traveling is one of the coolest things ever because you do meet so many different people. Every place I've been has been such a different experience. I've been to, Dominican Republic twice, to like small villages, and both times I've been able to develop a relationship with these guys, and like, but it's just so cool. And then you go to Costa Rica and the people down there are so different, and you're like, man, someday I'll see those guys again. You create relationships with them.
Yeah.
You go to Switzerland and you meet people out there and you're like, dude, I love those guys. Like, I want to go see them again. And every culture is different. So you learn about all these different cultures, which just makes you really appreciate where we live too. It's like, it's a kind of a trade-off of like, man, I got this really cool experience, but I also love to be able to come back and be in somewhat of a normal, thing. So it's all different, but it's so cool. And yeah, so the goal is to be in 30 by 30, alongside like working, and I work 100% remotely. So to be able to continue to do that and hit all the countries would be like the ideal goal. It just keeps it fun, and I guess right now I kind of kickstarted it by being nomadic for a year. I cut my lease in August and I've been traveling this is day like 38 or something like that.
Wow.
And the goal is a year. So
You want to do this for a whole year?
yeah, the goal is to not have
Wow.
a lease for the next year.
And what spurred this decision?
It's just, I don't know. I don't know. So things just weren't really working out the way I kind of thought or seemed in Seattle at the time that like leases were coming around to be like transitioned or whatever. So no matter what, I had to move out of my house. And just lifestyle things and whatever. And I just was like, well, this is a really good, and nothing was really lining up. Like opportunities were just kind of not great choices for living in Seattle. And I was like, well, I do work remotely and I have really good friends around the country and around the world. Like through snowboarding, I've been able to meet a ton of people. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm not signing a lease. And when I said that, like when I confirmed that I was not going to do it, I had so much peace in what I was doing. I was like, okay, I don't have to stress about finding a place. I don't have to do this. I'm just going to go. I love flying. I only fly Delta Airlines. Not a paid ad. But
Why Delta?
it's just the best airline. They handle your bags better. I've come to experience through all the travels I've done.
Maybe I should take some tips.
Would recommend. Delta is incredible. Their staff is amazing, like super kind. Every time I get on a flight, I talk to them and just like see what's going on, and they're just so cool to just stop and talk. And yeah, and I have status with them, so my bags are free, which is a huge bonus.
Oh,
and
wait,
I have
how did you just fly with them so much?
so much. Yeah, I did like a mileage run last year, so I flew from like here to Arizona, back home to Hawaii, then Montana, and then I was just all over the place trying to get status. So I did it. Now I have that, and I have lounge access, so that helps. That's actually really nice being someone that doesn't necessarily have an apartment.
You're
Is
like, I have Delta Airlines lounge is
yeah,
the spot,
you have showers
dude.
in there too, and I shower every day because I'm
Sure.
a weirdo about being
Kidding.
clean. But yeah, for sure, dude. I'm sitting across now, but it's nice because you can shower in layovers if you need to. So
And they have snacks.
yeah, Delta's dope.
Yeah.
Would recommend. And with the COVID thing, they're taking it real good. Like they're keeping everything really clean. It's been like an incredible staff through the whole thing. The middle rows, like the middle seats, are still empty until like February or something.
Okay.
So you get an extra seat, which is pretty cool. So you pay 2 for 1.5, or you pay 1 for, I don't know, something like that, 1.5. So that's awesome, and they're great.
Dang.
Yeah, and I know a couple people that work for them, and they're just the
Delta,
best.
if you want to sponsor the
This is a
podcast,
sponsored ad.
let me know.
Yeah, sponsored.
Sponsor me, guys.
Yeah.
I have 0 sponsors.
Not
It's
yet.
okay. It's all right. It's just my mom listening to this, probably.
That's all right, dude.
Not even my mom.
Get you 3 whole views now.
Yeah, my mom and you. And Delta Airlines.
Yeah, Delta's going to hop in on this one. Yeah, Ed Baston's going to hop in and be like, yo, man, we need to sponsor this podcast.
So you know the guy.
The CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know him personally, but I'm that much of a nerd. Like, with flying, I am the biggest nerd. I'll stop talking about it because I'll talk for 20 minutes about flying. And that's
You're
just
like
not that exciting for
kids
everybody.
who's like obsessed with trains.
Yeah,
but you're
planes.
obsessed with Delta
Dude,
Airlines.
I love it. I would like book flights for friends just because I like to do it.
Yeah. I'll hit you up next time I go
like,
somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go to Peru next year.
Dude,
so
easy. I got you.
Delta
We'll
flights
get
to
it
Peru.
done. Maybe. You can probably get there on something that's by Sky Team, which is all Delta, like their whole alliance. So someone flies down there from them. Who knows who?
Cool. Yeah, I always just kind of like book random airlines. I'm like, at some point I should like try to get miles with someone. But
If you fly internationally, fly one airline or one team. So Sky Team or Star Alliance, because you'll accumulate a ton of points, and that's when you really start to see the benefits of flying.
I am learning
get
things.
Upgraded. Yeah. When you get upgraded and you're like, this is a good day. So.
Cool.
Yeah. Enough with the flying because I'll keep going.
That's okay. Okay, so 30 countries by the time you're 30.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Okay, so let me tell you my like next couple that I really want to go to. Peru.
Yeah.
Because I want to go down to like Sacred Valley. I want to like feel the ground, feel our ancestors.
Sweet.
I want to go to Costa Rica.
Beautiful place. Would recommend.
I want to go. I want to go to Japan.
Yep. That'd be incredible.
Yeah. I want to go back to Bali in Thailand.
Sweet.
I want to go to Vietnam.
Okay.
I want to go to South Africa. I want to go to Morocco. I want to go to Spain. I literally so many places.
Good,
I want to go to Egypt. A lot of South America. I want to go to I would go to Brazil, but I want to go to Colombia.
Yeah.
I'd go to Canada just to go to Whistler though.
You got to do it once. It's easy.
Like, yeah.
It's easy.
I should
really easy. With my license, I can go through the border, so we'll see after this whole thing. But yeah, I mean, you can just show up. I do day trips out there, so go up to Canada.
Canada, sponsor me.
Yeah, the whole country. Come on now.
Okay, so what about you? Where do you want to go?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Japan is a huge one because they have the best snowboarding by far. So that I was gonna go last year, didn't. Lame, but I don't know. I don't really have like a big list of like this is real place. Like I definitely want to go to Bali because I surf, so I want to go surf out there. And I would love to be in Southeast Asia more and like kind of see that whole world and.
It's a beautiful world.
Yeah, and just do stuff like that. But the thing is, like at some point, I'd ideally just hit them all. So I don't have a list of like these are the places I have to go. I just see flights and then see fit. Like Portugal will be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go surf in Portugal really bad. So if there's a flight, like great example. If I see a flight and I'm like, that's a good flight, I'm gonna go.
The stars aligned and there you are.
Yeah, I mean the way I got to Switzerland was paid $350 round trip, and I was
What?
Yeah, I was on my flight to.
Okay, I need to get your flight tips.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. But,
because like that's obviously for like almost anyone that's the time, but also like the main deterrent is international flights are freaking expensive.
But here's the thing: is everybody that I talk to, flying, traveling is expensive. Like, how do you afford to do it? How do you like just afford a trip to Europe? Well, you stop buying so many T-shirts, or you have a $200 pair of shoes on. And you only need $100 more to fly to Switzerland, Joe Reed. So that's like the big thing is it's so lifestyle. Materialistic, right? So it's really easy for people. Like I have one pair of shoes when I travel because why would I need more than one? I invested $100 into a pair of shoes. They're gonna last me until whenever. But the thing is like if you want to travel, everyone says they want to do it, just do it. Like stop buying things that don't matter. Like I don't know, wear black shirts, black shorts. Black shoes.
Look at us right now. We're all black right now.
We're not goth. We're just smart.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean it just makes it easy.
Yeah.
And then you can start traveling. So then from there you start searching your flights and like, digging into some good deals. Yeah. And you can track dates and all that kind of stuff. And that's the big piece is time. Because you can't get a cheap flight on a weekend. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
But no, that is a big one. Like especially like I'm not someone who goes out, like I'll have a beer with a friend sometime, But like that's one thing. Drinking is so
Stupid
expensive. And
yeah.
like people will blow hundreds of dollars in one night like going out.
Gone.
I'm like, oh, that makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yep.
Why would I ever do that? Like if
Yeah.
I buy 2 drinks, oh, this is like a big baller night.
Yeah.
Like I'm probably feeling guilty about that one. But I also like never really go out, so
You drop some bills, dude.
I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's huge. Like with like any kind of excuse, like, oh well, where are you putting your money?
Yeah. It's all perspective.
People are like, oh my god, like you went to travel, like, and I haven't done like a ton of traveling.
Yeah.
But still, people are like, oh, you're like always like somewhere, and I'm like, yeah, because I don't have that many clothes, and I mean, I still like buy things.
That's fine, and definitely buy things and treat yourself. But like, I'm saying like,
I don't go out to eat all the time, like all that stuff. Like when
but it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the most that I went out to eat was when I was hanging out with you and Jason. I'm like, oh my god, I've bought like 3 meals out. I'm going crazy.
I do eat out a lot because I don't live anywhere.
Well, yeah, like that. Yeah. That's your rent, dude.
Yeah, you know, I saved $1,000 on rent every month, so I'm just kind of, I'll pay for lunch. But yeah, I mean, it's all perspective. I've talked to people that they spend $300 at the bar one night, and then the next day they're like, "How do you travel so much? You must be made of money." And I'm like, "No,
I just did not spend $300 at the bar last night."
The money I used on the bar, I used on a flight. So, and that's like nothing wrong with anyone's life choice.
No,
it's just like,
that's just what do you want?
Yeah, you just see it, and that's what I do. It's like my head is after traveling and after, you know, all these experiences. Like the whole thing is I want to be able to give my kids really cool stories about all the things I've done and be able to like. Your dad
broke his neck and traveled the world.
Yeah, I want to be a grandpa and be like, look at all these crazy places I've gone, or like, let's go to one of these crazy places. Yeah. You know, so if I can get all this experience now, then it's going to be a lot easier to do that with a family down the road. So, opposed to buying shoes, I'm buying flights. So, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's dope. What other things are on your bucket list?
I don't know. I mean, but again, it's just very open. I want to skydive. Like, I really want to skydive. I'm such an adrenaline
Me too.
Big time. So, I do want to skydive. I couldn't for a long time because of my neck and like the jolt. So I want to get my certification in it. Like in a perfect world, I dive enough that I can just go do it with friends.
Oceanside has it.
Yeah, there you go. But so that's kind of that's a big one. The 30 for 30 is that's definitely the biggest. Have a family someday. I don't know. That's long term. Definitely not anytime soon.
30 kids by 30.
30 kids by 30. Good luck. But I don't know. Things like that. It's just experiences. The biggest thing is just travel and experiences is kind of all I need, you know. And I've been able to cross off snowboard bucket list stuff. Like Super Park is one of the biggest photo shoots of all time. It's put on by Snowboarder Mag. It's been going on for like 22 years or something like that. So I was fortunate enough to get in and, you know, do that. So I've been able to cross off some bucket list items that, you know, already. So I don't know. There's no bucket list. It's just like
things you want to do. I don't have like an actual bucket list either.
Yeah.
So like I'd have to like think of it.
I do want to fly 1,000,000 miles. So it's a lot. It's gonna be a lot of work.
How many do you have so far?
Not 1,000,000.
Okay, well, how many?
I don't know. I've probably been on like a lot of flights, like hundreds and hundreds of flights, but I have no idea what the mileage is. I think right now I have like 109,000 for X amount of time, but yeah. So you kind of do some math and it's going to take a long time. So it'll be like when I'm older and have kids by the time I hit 1,000,000, but it'd be so cool.
I'll make you a plaque.
Yeah.
I will. Mark my words. If you like, I don't know, what are we going to have? Like telepathic like messaging at that point?
No, I'll shoot you a MySpace message for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I never had a MySpace.
Neither did I, but we'll make them.
Okay.
So we can get this plaque figured out.
Okay.
Okay.
Mark my words. I'll write it in blood. I'll make you a plaque when you have 1,000,000 miles.
Deal, dude.
All right.
Deal.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'll carry around with me everywhere.
I'm going to make it really big then.
Huge. Yeah. 10 pounds.
Yeah. What do you think? Okay. By the time you have 1,000,000 miles, how old do you think you'll be?
Older than I am now.
Okay. So say you're like 60. Know. That's in like 40-ish years.
Hopefully it doesn't take me 40 years to hit 1,000,000 miles because it'd be so much flying to do by the time you're like, man, I got to go on another one. I don't know. I want to do it early enough because you get benefits from hitting 1,000,000 miles on airlines. So it's like you get into a crazy status and like
you get like your own room on the plane.
Yeah, well, you can still do that
like
now,
sauna.
but like, they drive you to your flight, like, and like it's just stupid. Some of the things that show up with like $1,000,000 Club, it's just so cool. And how cool would it be to like show up to the airline and everybody know your name? Like you pop.
That's the $1,000,000.
Yeah, you like book a ticket and you automatically get upgraded to first class, which sometimes happens, but at 1,000,000, you're like you always get first class. So you like scan your ticket and they're like, oh my god, and then they're like, hey. It's you, and you're like, yeah, I did it,
You're like, I did it. I'm in the millies,
like
baby.
I spent a lot of money on these flights, so I don't know. It's just kind of a weird goal, but it'd be kind of fun.
No, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, say it is 40 years later. What do you think the Earth's gonna be like then? Think of how much
Still
like
round.
technology has changed in like the past like 30.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully, they don't cut my miles. Just kidding. You still need them. As long as they don't like teleport, I should still be good. So,
Well, do you think like teleportation will be a thing and then you get miles that way?
I don't know.
Like
It'd be
Delta
lame. You
Airline-
get like 2 miles or something dumb for like
No, it still counts.
or like
Delta
like
teleportation.
particle points or something. Because you like get blasted into particles and show up somewhere else.
Do you
It's
think
like,
you like lose some sometimes? That would
probably
be a big thing.
It'd be kind of a big risk, is like losing a finger by teleportation,
No,
or
just like a couple cells.
Or
Like,
like-
you wouldn't even notice.
you pull up and you're bald or something. Like, dang it, like I don't know. I'd rather just fly.
Oh my god, I hope that happens.
No, I don't. I hope I don't lose a finger or end up bald. I have good hair.
No,
I don't want to lose it.
No, I just hope that like that's a thing, and like that's like a big lawsuit issue with the airlines that turn into like teleportation
Dude.
places. Like all the airports are gonna turn into like just like these little doors that you walk through.
Yeah, and just blast out the other side.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully it's not anytime soon because I like flying. I don't know if I'd like teleportation. The experience of flying is really cool. Again, we're all on the like
What
the
if
flying
you
thing.
got like a little like simulation? Like you could choose
No, that'd
your
be so.
ride.
I want to fly. Like I want to be on a plane for 16 hours.
They would have like retro things for you to do.
Yeah.
When you're an old man, you're like, I miss flying.
Yeah,
like we got you.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to be able to like fly first class to Australia and at like the longest flights possible and just enjoy it. It's okay.
Feel impartial to flying.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like I just
love it.
I just get uncomfortable.
That's okay.
I can't sleep on planes.
Yeah, that'll do it. I sleep best on planes. Straight up.
I do not.
I'm
But
sorry.
I love being in the airport. Like I love just like walking around the airport, and I like getting onto the plane. And then once I'm there and all settled in, I'm like, okay, now I'm here for 8 hours.
Like now what? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I get it.
But otherwise, I love it.
Good.
What else?
Like my bucket list. I don't know. Again, like it's just all trying to do it all. Trying to have the best experience as possible. I don't know. I'm just trying to enjoy life and take advantage of what I do have, which is 2 working legs, 2 working arms, and a remote job. Or not take advantage of my remote job. I work really hard, but being able to use that. Yeah, to be able to use that privilege of being able to like travel, and I don't know. I just want to enjoy my time and meet new people and do weird stuff like this. And yeah, so like this is what it's all about. It's like when I cut my lease, I was like, I'm gonna meet some new people. I'm gonna do some weird things. There's gonna be situations I'm not really sure about, but that's all part of a cool experience. Like,
no, definitely.
And I've had a couple. I do need to get really good at writing them down because I've been traveling for a while, and I'm already like, I don't even know what happened on day 3, so I do need to write stuff down because I want to like remember some of these things.
That's so hard because I do journal and I do write.
Yeah.
But mostly I'm like not writing about like what I'm doing. Like
Yeah,
it's not like a log of like what I did that day. I'm just like, oh, like I don't know, like probably just talking about like emotional stuff.
Yeah.
But
I cried twice today.
my tears were like
droplets of glitter. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of you.
No, it probably does sound like that. Yeah, no, but that's why I just kind of like, this like sounds cheesy, but I was explaining this to my friend the other day or actually on the other podcast, because we were talking about like Instagram and like social media addiction and all that stuff. And I was like, I definitely do get addicted to it sometimes.
It's
but
so
I
easy to get
delete
addicted.
it off my phone
Yeah.
quite often. But I love taking little Instagram stories because
Totally.
for me, like those are just tiny little pieces of my day, and then I can look back on them and be like, oh yeah, this is what I was doing, and it triggers all those
Yep.
memories from that picture.
Yeah, for sure. I use them all the time. Like, it's cool. You can actually go to your archives and see a map, and it'll show you where all those stories were taken if you tag them with the store, like the location.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool. You can actually hop in and be like, oh man, in Switzerland, this is the night I had raclette, and I ate so much food my stomach was going to explode, or whatever. And it's just so you kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So like that is one thing that I really like. Like the other day, like I took a picture of a snail. Because it just like
I saw that, yeah.
Wasn't that he was glowing?
It was crazy.
It was
yeah,
crazy.
that snail was on a different level.
I know, he was like radioactive or something.
Yeah.
You know, there's the sun was like pouring through him. Like, damn, dude, you look good.
You're a nice looking snail, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like little things like that, like little like details of life, and you're like, oh my god, remember when you were 23 and you were hanging out with that snail that morning? Like,
Yeah.
Just like I love
you
that.
and the snail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to forget stuff like that. But then also like the weirdest stuff will trigger that memory and unlock like the most specific details of like whatever.
Yeah. Kind of back you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Another story comes out of it.
Mm-hmm, for sure. So we'll wrap it up in a sec. But let me leave you with this question. So the podcast is this human thing because we are all in this human thing.
Yeah.
Whatever this life thing is, maybe it's a simulation, maybe it's some guy who just like science experiment like made us, or maybe it's this like beautiful cosmic spiritual experience. Whatever it is, we can't really know. We just kind of choose to believe what works. And you believe in God.
Yeah.
I believe in God. Maybe it's not like specific to one like religion, maybe.
Yeah.
But I do believe in like a higher power, like this like oneness, or I don't know, I could get into that for a long time.
Yeah.
But ultimately we can't really know, and that's why we have faith.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we have to believe in something, or we just get all ego-y and are always just focused on like building a character and like building like this person feeling more separate. Anyway, well, that prelude, that was like a little bit messy. So like what do you think this human thing is, and like what is like your parting words for the episode of like how can you do this human thing the best? Like what is like your one little slice of advice?
Man, okay, so really quick before I dive into some extremely deep stuff here.
Okay.
I am the worst when it comes to deep like quotes or statements or anything or advice or whatever. So like in work we have this like every week we're like lasting quotes. What's something we finish off this meeting and it's like lasting quotes, and everyone says something really cool and kind of like
hang loose, fellas.
Well, everyone's like, oh, there's like say something really deep and like cool, and you're like, that's kind of dope. Like I could use that.
Yeah.
And then there's me, and I don't know if it's the pressure or what, but mine are always so weird. Like
you can leave a weird one.
No, it's like most of them I'm like, wear your sunscreen, or like
it's important.
Charge your AirPods, bro. Was mine last week, and what does that have to do with anything? Except for the fact that I didn't charge my AirPods. You know what I mean? If you don't have them, I'd recommend. They're pretty good. But
I thought they were so nerdy until I got some, and I'm
you're like, they're
this
dope.
saved my life.
Yeah. So I don't know. As far as this goes, my belief's different. Like I believe in God, Christian, non-denominational. So I don't like. It's not specific to like Presbyterian or anything like that. Like I just believe that God is my creator. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what I will choose to believe until the day I die. But as of for this human thing, I think just honestly, like, go live the life that you're trying to, because or find the opportunities that you don't have yet. Like every day I look for an opportunity that I haven't seen. So if you can do that, then it'll make your human thing or your human experience open up a little bit. Like a lot of people are so closed-minded to experiences or new things or doing things differently than everybody else. It's really easy to like form to a mold. Mm-hmm. Don't try to break your mold.
Question things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like do things differently than everybody else. And that's exactly what I'm doing, and it's been really cool. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but
no, those are some great parting words.
So
there was a bit of a glow emanating from you, the glow of wisdom.
Nice. Yeah, it's probably all these twinkle lights that just came on. No, but I mean, really, just break the mold. People, it bums me out so much when I see people that really get stuck in like a specific way or told they're supposed to do it this certain way, X, Y, Z. Like, it's just not that way. Everyone's path is different, whether you have a degree or you don't, or you know, your parents tell you can or can't do something. Like, break it, dude. Just believe in what you want to do and go do it.
Amen.
Yeah.
So. That was beautiful.
Yeah, so that's it. But,
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
This was a great episode.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's nice to not have a list of questions. So, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
if I was like doing like really interview style.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like I've done interviews before, but it's nice to not. And you're like, I can just kind of.
Well, I just want like the whole point of this is for it to just be a conversation. And sometimes I would have some questions or topics, like maybe not even related to you personally. Just like I'd be like, so would you ever own a salamander?
It's like no, I wouldn't.
But
yeah, you know.
When I was little, I would like capture them.
Nice.
But I don't do that anymore, guys.
That's probably good. I'd be a little freaked out if there were a bunch of salamanders in
here. You open my bedroom and you're like, oh, cat.
Yeah.
I need to leave.
Not doing a podcast.
Too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but the reason I would have questions is just like if the conversation dies out, I can be like, oh, you know. But I really just want it to be a conversation. Like I just want, you know, you to have a little outlet, just like this is my story. This is, and like exactly what you were saying, like everyone's path is different. It's not necessarily right or wrong. I mean, you can just like be a shitty person and
you can
be
suck.
Like, you can be hurting other people and all of that. But generally there's not a right or wrong path. There's not a right or wrong way to live.
Totally.
And like by people sharing their stories on this podcast, like I'm like hoping to maybe people listen and they'll be like, oh yeah, it's okay to live alternatively. It's okay to like begin to question the things that I believe so that I can, maybe I return to my original belief, but maybe I find the error in the way that I was thinking before, and I'm able to open myself further because now I'm open to more possibilities and more ways of living and more ways of thinking. Which just like in the end just like helps us all like connect more as humans, because like we're all pretty separated and
dude, that's what I'm saying, man. That's why this is so cool. It's like traveling and this kind of stuff. I'm trying not to be separated from people, so meeting new people and building that network is really cool. So do it.
Cool. Guys, live life with #no filter.
None of them. Filter's actually low-key whack, so
yes, so that's actually your ending clip. Filter's a low-key whack.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up episode 14 of This Human Thing. Joe, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
This was just such a treat.
That's fun, yeah. Get a little experiment.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm just going to end off with some little closing statements. You guys can follow This Human Thing on Instagram, on Facebook, at This Human Thing. Are you making this a rap? Joe's like bopping his head around like, okay, ready?
Yeah, keep going. Do your thing. I'm not going to rap it.
you want to beatbox?
I just like get into the flow of it.
Okay. Yeah. And you can watch videos on YouTube. This one's being recorded right now. It got really dark while we were talking, so it's probably mad blurry now, but that's totally fine. I haven't been uploading the YouTube videos, but I will at some point. Mark my words. You can, if you want to support the show, I've got one Patreon subscriber. But if anyone else wants to hop on, throw me $3, that'd be cool. You don't need to. I'm not trying to pressure anyone. It's just an option. So, what else? Joe, do you have any plugs? Where can people find Joe Reed? Where can they follow your journey?
Yeah, at Joe Reed 07 on Instagram.
07.
Yeah, 07. 7 is my favorite number. Joe Reed was taken. It's this dude. I've been trying to buy his Instagram forever. He won't respond. He has like no posts either, so it really bumps me out. So Joe Reed 7 was taken. So Joe Reed 07 it was, and that has been my Instagram since the beginning.
Cool.
Yeah, you can just follow me there. I don't really post anywhere else.
Okay. Yeah, follow his IG for some. I looked through it the other day. You got some really cool pictures of snow.
Thanks. Yeah, there's a lot of them in
And
there.
boards in snow.
Yeah.
And people on the boards in the snow.
Yeah.
Going fast, but you can't tell because it's a picture.
Because
Unless you watch a
because
video.
it's still. There are some videos in there. So,
Yeah. You want to see a flip? You want to see a double flip?
They're in there.
A triple flip?
Not a triple anymore, no.
Anymore.
Make my nose bleed.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, no triples. But
No
we got
triples.
The doubles. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Guys, Joe's about to hop on a call. You want to hop on it here?
Yeah, I'll figure it out. We'll either I'll be
we
around.
can
I can't go too far.
I kind of want to see your call. It's not like a business call. He's gonna be hanging with some kids.
Yeah.
So I kind of just want to see their little faces. Yeah. So we're gonna hang out here, guys. Whatever you're doing out there in your lives, be compassionate with yourself. Pretty hard on ourselves, which is good sometimes. You don't want to be lazy, but yeah. Spread a little love to yourself, spread a little love to the people around you. Don't take it so seriously, but do take it a little bit seriously. But whatever you're doing out there, keep doing your thing. Peace in, peace out. Bam. And we're gone. Boom.
All right.
Woo. Can your ears breathe?
Yeah, dude.
That's the one thing. Whenever I take the headphones off, I'm like, oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna get on this.
All right.
Because I'm late.
Okay.
But, what's up, dude?
Bye.
Yeah, my